We got another one right here. This is for my main man for the WWE. I love him because again, OU, OU. So I'm gonna give him some love. And even though this is not about a wrestler, folks, but obviously when you think of WWE, you gotta include this man right here, the great Jim Ross. Um, in my opinion, the best damn announcer in the history of the WWE. All the catchphrases from Good God Almighty, or the one with Triple H at SummerSlam, I don't want to use the terms or the words or anything like that. But when you think of Jim Ross, the catchphrases, the entertainment, the voice, and I said this, in my opinion, Stone Cold Steve Austin is the GOAT. There's nobody that has had a closer relationship with Stone Cold than Jim Ross. And the best way I look at Jim Ross and Stone Cold, they are the WWE version of Ahmad Rashad and Michael Jordan. Because
That is
Ahmad
perfect.
Rashad would talk to Michael Jordan it on the ring, outside, on the court, outside the court. Ahmad Rashad would ask certain questions. Jim and Steve, to this day, have a great relationship. They talk about everything, whether life, booking, football, whatever it is, man. My favorite Jim Ross moment. There's a lot of favorite Jim Ross moments, but for me, No Way Out 2003, Eric Bischoff versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. When Stone Cold
Oh,
Oh,
Steve
you
woo!
took.
Austin
I know
came
you
into the
took
ring.
mine, BSB.
Hey, I
God.
thought about it. And then Jim Ross is
Oh,
saying, Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Oh, yeah, I'm with the stunner. Jim Ross, you could have seen the face. You could have seen his face. He was electric to see Stone Cold open up a can of whoop ass on Eric Bischoff that night. That has got to be my favorite Jim Ross moment. And of course, my other one is him whooping Jonathan Coachman's ass in that belt whip match. But No Way Out
WWE
2003,
was so unhinged
that
back
is
then.
my favorite Jim Ross moment because nobody wanted to see Eric Bischoff get his ass kicked more than Jim Ross. Who wants to go?
Hey, I would be remiss if I didn't say this, man. Not only was Jim Ross one of the best wrestler play-by-plays of all time, but he also was play-by-play for my Atlanta Falcons as well. So he's been all over the place, man. And JR, man, not only a great announcer for the WWE, great announcer for the old NWA, the WCW. I mean, Jim Ross, if you really want to, if I could really
And
speak,
talent evaluator.
yes, of course. If I could really speak with somebody outside of maybe Jim Cornette, who I think is hilarious at a certain point, if I could speak, I would love to speak with him, with Jim Cornette and Jim Ross in the same room and just talk wrestling about their experiences because I know they've experienced a lot more than I could ever watch. You know, those two guys, and although Jim Cornette's language is a little colorful, we would say, I would love to pick his brain.
Colorful.
I would say colorful, you know. His language is colorful, you know, but you know, he kind of but I'm that kid who used to laugh at grown folks in church. So I mean, you know somebody gonna sneak one in on you at church and they go curse at church. You know why the pastor ain't got to speak up. So you know somebody gonna sneak one in. I always thought that was funny. Jim Cornette's language is colorful. Jim Cornette's language is colorful, but I'd love to have a sit down with him. If I
Cornette.
could pick one Jim Ross moment, man, I would have to say, I have to pick two, man. Well, number one is Hell in a Cell, Mick Foley. As God is my witness, he is broken in half.
Yes. All the Undertaker one. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. He threw him off that cage, and as I'm listening to it, I see Mick Foley come down, and I see Jim Ross start up. As God is my witness, he is broken in half.
Good God Almighty, he killed him.
Yeah.
Or when Taker chokeslammed Mick Foley through the cage, he's like, "Will somebody stop the damn match?"
Yeah.
No, funny thing about that, Taker said on an interview he thought he killed him. Like honestly, because he didn't after the first
Jerry
bump,
the King Lawler even said he's dead.
Yeah, everyone no, because Undertaker thought after that second one he didn't move. Like go back and watch the end of that match. He doesn't move at all. Everyone in that arena thought they just witnessed a man get murdered on national television.
And then not only that, people don't realize during that match, I hate to take the subject off of Jim Ross, but before he hit Terry Funk, he said something to him, and people didn't know what he said. And then a couple days ago, I finally figured out what he said right before he hit him. And he looked at him, he said, "Make sure he's still alive." So Terry Funk went over there and touched him up a little bit and got back in his face. And Undertaker had to hit him in order to save his face. But that's what he told Terry Funk, make sure he's still alive. So he went over there and checked on him real quick. Yeah, and then, of course, Taker hit him, but I digress. Another one, I will have to say this, man. Unforgiven 2003 when Goldberg finally won the WWE Heavyweight Championship. Like I said, language can get a little bit colorful, but man, you are not going to get a better announcement of a person winning the World Heavyweight Championship than when Jim Ross announced that Goldberg won the World Heavyweight Championship, because it wasn't what he said, it was how he said it with that southern draw to it. And it's kind of like you talking to one of your very, very blunt uncles from down south. You know what I'm talking about, BRF. So, for him to say that like that, it was just pretty colorful. And then, look, I got to be somebody. Man, he hated Triple H at Triple H's peak, man. I cannot tell you how many names he used to call Triple H everything except the child of God. So I mean, I'm just saying.
No, that's the truth. Going back to SummerSlam 2002 when Triple H hit Shawn in the back with the sledgehammer.
Oof.
Does he have a conscience? Does he have a soul? No.
Do you have a heart? Do you have no soul?
Yeah. Great or BRF, whoever wants to go.
I'll take the floor on this one. I mean, I don't think Jim Ross is just the greatest commentator in the history of the WWE. I think he's the greatest commentator in wrestling. Just his influence and what he's had, and just the mark he's left on the business in multiple companies. And even though, I mean, of course, in AEW, he's like not what he used to be, but still leaving his mark. I mean, I think it's a testament to, his passion and how much he loves the business. Jim Ross is just, basically just kind of like seeing him basically be the voice of the Attitude Era. Just so many moments come to mind. Any Triple H heel call is like just, oh my gosh, I'm with Champ on that. Like he made insulting Triple H like an art, like straight up. It's like some of the funniest things I've ever heard, like straight up. But if I'm going with moments like matches for JR, I have a few. Like I'll try to keep it short. Like WrestleMania, like I've talked about it, but like WrestleMania 25, Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. I just had an out-of-body experience when Shawn Michaels kicked out of that tombstone. It's like he just, you're watching a great match, and for Jim Ross to say something like that, that's psychology, that's storytelling, that's just bringing you in and bringing you to the edge of the seat, and you're just like, oh God, what's about to happen next? Like you're thinking that Shawn Michaels really about to beat this man. So it's just how he sells matches. And then an underrated one, my favorite, I'll keep it a buck. My favorite Jim Ross announced matches are when he's just biased as hell against one person, and he just makes it his God-given duty to call that person every name in the book. WrestleMania 22, Shawn Michaels and Vince McMahon, I swear for God, that is one of the greatest biased called commentary matches I have ever heard in my life. Because Vince McMahon, that was like peak evil Vince McMahon. I mean, this was I think this was going into Shane and Vince versus Shawn Michaels and God. Like the dude, like Vince had like literally like flipped like straight up. And that WrestleMania 22, that street fight. I mean, when that street fight, when he
Sean elbow slammed Vince from the ladder.
The elbow when he had Vince in the trash can. But there was a couple of lines in that match that was just there was one where Vince had tried to bring a belt into the match, and Shawn took the belt from him and just started whipping him. And he's like, "Lay it in him, Shawn. Hit him harder." And I loved it. And then there's another part, because they're in Chicago, right? So big baseball town. Shawn Michaels absolutely, I'm talking about one of the hardest chair shots I've ever seen anybody take. And Jim Ross was like, "It's long, it's far, it's gone." WrestleMania 22, oh my God, when Jim Ross was perfect in situations like that, when there is a legit face and a legit heel, and Jim Ross can't stand him, and he's just gonna let him know. And of course, I feel even though you've already said it, my favorite of all time is No Way Out 03. Just, oh my gosh, like, it was like, that whole match was just hilarious. Even after Stone Cold beat him, and he's like, and he gets up, and Johnny the Coach was like, "Jim, sit down, Jim." No, him and Jerry Love, and Jim was like, 17,000 in the Cow Palace is standing. Why the hell can't I stand? Oh my gosh. Jim Ross, when he wanted to be, was just sheer psychological storytelling perfect when it came to commentating. That's why there will never be another Jim Ross for a very long time. That man is goated. Forever the GOAT. He is the GOAT of professional wrestling when it comes to commentary. I love that man so much. Just too many moments, but those just stick out for me.
Do you remember WrestleMania 17 when Stone Cold turned heel and he beat The Rock? And remember what he said when Stone Cold and Vince were shaking hands?
He sold his soul to Satan himself.
Oh boy. I gotta come back in on this one. I never forget this one right here. I never forget. Remember when Rob Van Dam came? Remember when Shane got hooked up to the jumper cables?
Yeah.
Still pain. Good.
It was just like I can hear in his voice. Oh, God Almighty! And then finally, Rob Van Dam comes out and start hitting Kane with a chair. And man, I have never seen so many curse words used so creatively in my entire life.
Yeah.
Oh no! Hey, I got one more. I got one more real quick. One more real quick. Okay, that same kind of. I think it was that same time frame, that same angle. When Kane had first took the mask off and he went into just like complete psychotic, insane asylum. Kane. When Kane fought Eric Bischoff, well, Kane was supposed to fight Eric Bischoff on the Raw. Jim, I swear to God, I think line for line. How did he say this? My dream for this match is for Kane to absolutely beat the hell out of Eric Bischoff. and then I want Kane to walk outside and get hit by a bus. he said when that I'm like, bro, JR, you goated, bro. You goated. You are goated.
Grant, what is your favorite Jim Ross moment?
I got a few that I'm looking at my list. One of them, I'll go iconic first off. WrestleMania 18, Hogan Rock. When Hogan dropped the leg and he went Andre the Giant with that move. The leg is hooked. And then Hogan kicked out, and just the way he sold that, absolute perfection. I just thought that was beautiful. I'll remember, and there was another one. There was what? Oh, when The Rock turned and I think he sold out at Jordan. I think it was the Authority. I don't remember exactly what he said, but he said, like, when The Rock turned, he went, a corporate butt smooching champion. The Rock sold out. The Rock is the easy way to get ahead. Whatever happened to principles, values, and more? And he was just screaming like everything under the sun. My gosh. And then obviously, probably he's beaten like a government mule.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Vince McMahon it was the thing with Rikishi.
The stick meter.
Look, and he went, I can't say the whole statement, but I can't say the whole statement but I just put it in the chat, and I'm gonna let y'all read that, and that's what that man said.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he went, there is a God. Thank God. There is a God. And then probably.
Oh, God. Go ahead.
And then probably also, this one I just remembered. When y'all remember the Un-Americans, when they tried to burn that American flag on TV, and Booker T and Kay came out there, and Kay grabbed him, and then Jim Ross went, cheap shot, take him for a ride, send him to hell, and Kay just stayed nasty coke on the desk. Those are.
Do you remember when Stone Cold walked into? Remember when WCW? WWF, they were fighting each other, and then Stone Cold comes into the ring, and then Stone Cold makes his entrance, and then he says, oh, he's talking, he's focused. Oh my God, like Jim Ross.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Is it the old Stone Cold? He's talking. Oh man. Oh yeah. Gosh. Mm-hmm. That was so good. Ooh, boy. Boy, I'm telling you, man. Some of that stuff had me in tears. Boy, that stuff was so funny.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy.
He was hilarious, man. Dev, you still there, man? Look, I know you don't follow WWE as much, but have you ever favorite Jim Ross moment? It's okay if you don't follow.
I don't know that moment.
No, it's all good. It's all good. But like I said before, man, Stone Cold Jim Ross. That's the WWE version of Ahmad Rashad and Michael Jordan. To me, in my opinion, because when you think about interviewing wrestler, that's got to be the two of them. But oh my God, I mean, we probably gonna have to do some more favorite wrestling ones. So if y'all want to come up with some ideas or topics for the Sports PSP pod next week, oh my God, the other one, what other Jim Ross moment I have to think of. I mean, there is a lot of them, but oh my God, man, that one, but the Satan one, when he told Stone Cold shaking hands with Satan himself, that I literally was like, I was eating cereal, I was eating a bowl of Fruity Pebbles, I spit them Fruity Pebbles right out of my mouth, man, when he said that. But Jim Ross, creative. I mean, energetic. I mean, there'll never be no one like him, man. He was just electric to watch, man.